What's up, guys? So we now know the stats of all of the new Prismatics in the update, so that means it's time for the new Prismatic tier list in Spongebob Tower Defense. Before we hop on in, guys, I have a banger giveaway for you. Comment down below if you guys need Prismatic Treasure Hunter. I'm going to be giving one away to somebody who comments, likes, and smashes that subscribe button. All right, so here's our tier list, and yes, guys, we are going to be including the pets and the new units. So if you guys want to know how good the new units are, for example, the cat, etc., I'm going to be ranking them and the new pet in this tier list. So this is going to stay up to date as well for at least a couple weeks. All right, let's get it started. Now, first up, we need to test some of these units out. So we're going to first by taking a look at all the pets. So all the prismatic pets do damage. So let's go see if there's any ones that are better than the others. First up, guys, we're going to go with the best pet in the game. And in my opinion, that is T119A. Now, you are going to see that it is, well, I already gave all these away. Jeez. All right. Well, it is basically the same as every other pet. As far as I know, every prismatic pet does the same. So look at this, guys, 35, 35, 55. And if we take a look at the index pet for Clam, the index pet for Clam is 35, 35. No, it's 33, 33, 33. And then 51 gold. So actually the Clam is technically worse. Wow, I was not expecting that, guys. So the Clam is technically worse than the rest of these. So we're going to factor that in the tier list. And I'm going to be honest, guys, the Clam is going to be impossible to get. So I'm going to say the Clam as of right now is the worst prismatic pet because it's the hardest to get. And you're going to be basically impossible to 5-star this thing. So I would not recommend getting the Clam, even though it is a free prismatic from the index. All right, next up we have the T119A, which is doing the same stats as the spatula. Now, what makes the T119A really special is there's a lot of people with crazy amounts of chests. So there is tons and tons of these. If we take a look, 7.8 thousand exist versus 29,000. So that means these are going to be very, very easy to get, and they are very easy to trade for. For example, a lot of people can trade a sticky fins for one of these. So I'm going to be honest, and that, in my opinion, puts it into the S tier. All right, make sure you guys, this is the easiest pet to get for new players. If you only have one pet slot, get this guy. Super easy to get. All right. Next up, we have the spatula. I'm going to put the spatula in A tier. A little bit harder to get, but still a very good one. And then we have the new pet. Now, I have access to the test server, so I actually have access to the new units, or some of them. So let's take a look at the new pet. All right, so here we go, guys. These are the new pet stats. You're going to notice some things that are actually kind of interesting. So first up, this is technically the best pet in the game. All right, you're going to get 2% bonus on all of these compared to this. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest. This pet is going to be insanely hard to get. He is an AFK reward. So while he is definitely better, considering how difficult he is to get, he does deserve an S tier spot, but I don't really recommend going for him unless you can get him. But technically speaking, he is the best pet in the game as of right now. So I would highly recommend you guys get him. But this guy is a lot easier to get. And honestly, what you really care about on these pets is not their damage. What really matters is the +2 placement. So in my opinion, as long as you have 3 of any of these pets equipped, you're basically going to be just as good as any other player. All right, let's get it started with some of the units. Now we're going to test these units out. And we're going to be ranking them mainly based on how much damage they do. And I will factor in slightly how easy they are to get. So first up, let's base this all off of the OG prismatic in the game. So I'm going to equip only the OG prismatic, and we are going to hop on into the final boss battle, and we're going to see how long it takes. Usually it only takes like a few seconds. So we're going to run it twice, and we're going to see how long this is going to take. And that's going to give us kind of a gauge of how much damage this guy is doing. Okay. So our comparison is it's going to take a little bit over like what, 7 seconds? All right, I'm going to try it one more time, and we'll see if it goes to 6. Because sometimes the second run is a lot faster, and that's what really matters because that's what you're going to be running over and over again. So this one is now, did it get to 6? This actually might be 6. All right, 6 seconds is actually pretty freaking good. So I'm going to be honest, that's not bad at all. I don't quite think it's the best, but it's definitely up there. So let's go rank this prismatic. I'm going to put him into we'll put him into the B tier. If any unit is better than this, we'll rank it higher. All right, let's go on to the next one. And the next one I have a superstar of is Snow Sponge. So let's see if Snow Sponge is better than SquarePants. Can he hit that 6-second barrier? All right, here we go. Let's get it. Now, I will say SquarePants, you can still trade for them. They have a lot of trading value, but they are still obtainable. So that's pretty good. They're not too crazy to trade for yet. If you have enough blackjacks or enough sticky fins, you can often trade for one. All right, let's see what kind of work Snow Sponge was putting in. 4 seconds. I'm gonna be honest, guys, that's pretty freaking good. That's gonna be hard to beat. All right, that's gonna be hard to beat. All right, on our second run, we got a time of 4 seconds. So that is very, very good. And that is definitely better than SquarePants. So I'm gonna put Snow Sponge up here in the A tier. Now, don't worry about the pets. It doesn't matter compared to the units, all right? Don't worry about that. So A tier for Snow Sponge, very, very good. All right, next up, I have another superstar, and that is Sticky Fins. So let's see how good Sticky Fins is, comparatively speaking. All right, here we go. So Sticky Fins, I believe he was a little bit worse, but we'll see if he's better than SquarePants or not. If he can beat 6 seconds, that means he's better than SquarePants, especially considering they have the same AoE. And I'm gonna be honest, based on what we're seeing, it looks like he is a lot better than SquarePants. So we're gonna run it back, and currently he's doing the same as Snow Sponge. Now, I will say his line AoE might not be as good as Snow Sponge, but I will also say Sticky Fins is about 10 times easier to get than Snow Sponge. So I'm going to give him the edge over Snow Sponge due to how easy he is to get. All right, so they're both right about the same DPS, but this guy is so easy to get. All right, let's head back to the lobby and let's see what our next unit is for testing. All right, guys, so our next unit for testing is going to be a little awkward. We're going to move on to 5 stars. Because I'm now out of superstars. So we're going to test out Ringmaster Krabs, and we're going to see how close he gets to the superstar units. Now, I am going to factor in the fact that he's not a superstar, and I'm going to be perfectly honest, from my testing, he's way, way better than anything else in the game. So obviously, he's probably going to get to the S tier. So let's take a look. Okay. All right, all right. Now remember, superstarring will double his damage. So in my opinion, that should about double his time. So, and it's going to add in some levels. So 9 seconds is not a bad time at all, considering he is not superstarred. So I'm gonna be perfectly honest, based on my calculations, that currently has him as the best unit for us. So I'm gonna put him into the S tier as of right now. All right, that might slightly change as we go on. All right, next up we have Tentacle Bob. From my testing, Tentacle Bob is going to be S tier as well. So a very, very good unit, better than Snow Sponge and better than Sticky Fins, but pretty hard to get. However, people have 5-starred him, and he's actually gonna be very easy to get in the future. So this guy's value is going to absolutely plummet. So he's gonna be very obtainable very soon. All right, so we got 9 seconds on the Mr. Krab. So we're gonna use a unit with the same stats. So here we go. Let me quit my blackjack. And I'm gonna swap out sidekick on him real quick. I don't know why he has whatever he has on him. So we're gonna swap out the sidekick from instead of secret formula. So let me go grab that. All right, come on. Oh my gosh, it really likes to give me secret formula. I don't know why. It should be like 5 times easier to get sidekick. There we go. So if this guy beats 9 seconds, that means he's better than Ringmaster. I kind of doubt it though. So in my opinion, from just looking at the stats, he seems pretty bad. But if he does beat 9 seconds, that means he technically is doing more DPS. However, he is a single target. Wow, this is terrible, guys. Oh, this is terrible. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, I don't know, guys. This is not looking good. All right, we're getting like over 15 seconds. Okay, yeah, I don't know if I like that or not. Now, he is not that hard to get, I will say. I'll show you how many exist in a second, but it looks like right around 20 seconds. That is not ideal, and he is only single target. That is a little concerning. 13,000 exists, so he is somewhat rare as of right now compared to the SquarePants, but his rarity will plummet at some point. So I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Based on my calculations, I am going to put him into the B tier. I don't really think he's that bad. I guess I have to move the Clam up, C for Clam, because we don't really have any D tiers. All right, we'll just say most Prismatics are good in general. However, I am going to have to add a tier, and I'll talk about why in a second. So S+. All right, there we go. Add a row above. Oh, I need to rename that to S. My bad. All right, I hate when I do that. All right, this is going to be the S+ tier, and these are for the new Prismatics and some of the old ones. So taking a look at the stats. So this guy's stats are absolutely crazy. All right, so I'm gonna show you his stats real quick. He is actually kind of game breaking OP. I should have a screenshot of his stats on my screen. 12 million damage. Now he has the same AoEs as SquarePants, and SquarePants starts at 7.5 million. So that is like double SquarePants' damage. Now, based on my calculations, that does have him better than Sticky Fins and Snow Sponge. So I'm going to be honest, I'm going to permanently put him at the top of S tier. He is just absolutely insane. Now, I would like to test him against Ringmaster. It might be pretty close, but we'll see. And next up, we have our GOAT guys, Big Booty Gary. Now, we don't know his exact stats yet. Hopefully, we can test him soon. But according to Zach, he is the strongest unit in the game. And he can basically, he's like 10,000 gazillion times better than every other unit. So, as of right now, he's the best unit, but we're going to wait on some further testing to confirm that. So here we go, guys. Here's my new Prismatic tier list. Comment down below what you guys think about it. What did I get wrong? What did I get right? And hopefully we get some new Prismatic soon. Peace out.